Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. We are here on Sly 2 Band of Thieves. I've been wanting to make a video like this for quite a while now, but the timing just needed to be right, but now that it is, I can finally talk about it. On this day, 11 years ago, we got Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. It ended up becoming the fourth installment in the Sly Cooper franchise, but it also ended up being the last entry that we would ever get in the series. Now, for those who don't know the general consensus of what the story of Sly Cooper Thieves in Time is centered on, it centers around Sly Cooper coming out of retirement and going back to being the thief that he has been known to be around the world. Sly ends up finding out that the history of his ancestors is being wiped from the Thievius Raccoonus thanks to an unknown group of villains. So now it's on him and the Cooper gang to go back in time to specific locations to try to preserve the history that his ancestors have created for themselves. The overall reception to Sly Cooper Thieves in Time was very mixed, I will say. Some people ended up enjoying it, however others did not enjoy it. For me personally, I thought the game was good, however I did not think it was great whatsoever. There were definitely a few things about the game that I genuinely liked, like for example, the ability to collect clues so that way you could unlock the vaults in each level. That was pretty much a fan favorite, at least to my knowledge, from past entries that was not present in Sly 3, but it did come back in Thieves in Time. Not only that, but the variety in the environments that you get to explore, from visiting the old Wild West of where Tennessee Kid Cooper is holed up at, to visiting feudal Japan, which is the home of another fellow ancestor in Ryoichi Cooper. The variety in environments that you get to explore in Thieves in Time was amazing. However, there were also some other aspects of Sly Cooper Thieves in Time that I was not a fan of. For example, the control schemes were pretty clunky. Hell, the implementation of motion sensor controls was one of the absolute worst decisions made in regards to the gameplay mechanics of Thieves in Time. Another thing that I also didn't like was some of the decisions made in regards to the storytelling in the game. Like for example, the fact that they had Penelope become a villain after joining up with the Cooper gang in Sly 3, the explanation in regards to Penelope wanting to become a villain was it just did not make sense to me at all. I think one of the biggest issues in regards to Sly Cooper Thieves in Time storytelling was the fact that Sly, he didn't seem like somebody who definitely matured and has gotten older, especially when you take into account that he still looks very, very young. He doesn't look older, he doesn't look like he's gone through so much wear and tear. You just don't see those specific aesthetics shine on his character in the game. Especially when you take into account that when the game released, a lot of us were teenagers slash young adults, so you would think that since we grew older, Sly would also too, therefore it would allow us to be able to relate to him, but unfortunately that just simply was not the case. In regards to the overall sales of Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, the game ended up not performing all that well. Sony and PlayStation didn't end up making much money back on the investment that they made in regards to the fourth Sly Cooper title, and as far as the reviews go, the majority of the reviews that we saw, the feedback was very, very average. Another thing that I have to point out is that every single Sly Cooper title that has released throughout its history has always ended on a cliffhanger. It was like that in Sly 3 in some way, shape, or form, and it was definitely like that with Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. I'll show you guys the footage so you know what I'm talking about.
This is not right! My plan was perfect!
Sorry, pal. You just can't plan for a Cooper.
Just please help me!
Why should I?
I do not wish to die!
I guess you won't be doing any harm from a prison cell.
As I said, so predictable.
You won't get away with this. I'll find you.
Au contraire, Sly Cooper. I do not think we will meet again.
And on top of that, Sanzaru also snuck in a secret ending as to what we could have expected from another Sly Cooper title had we gotten it. The instant people saw that secret ending, a lot of them were under the belief that we are definitely going to get another entry in the Sly Cooper franchise, but ever since then, we've gotten very, very little news in regards to the future of the franchise. Even some people from Sanzaru Games, more specifically Matt Kramer, who I believe is one of the higher directors at Sanzaru Games, he's also mentioned numerous times that if the fans want another Sly Cooper entry, we would have to let Sony and PlayStation know, insinuating that Sony owns the rights to the franchise, therefore Sanzaru doesn't, and as a result, Sanzaru doesn't have the freedom to develop another Sly Cooper title. This is a post from Sanzaru Games' Facebook page that they posted on November 14th, 2014, in which they went on record to say, "I wanted to respond to a lot of the questions regarding Sanzaru Games and Sly Cooper. While we, like you, dearly love the Cooper Gang, we are not currently working with PlayStation on a project and there are no plans to work on another Sly Cooper title." Because of how successful Sanzaru Games ended up getting in regards to the VR titles that they have been developing, Facebook recognized that enough to want to acquire them as a studio to develop more VR titles in the future, and as a result, this became the final nail in the coffin in regards to any potential involvement of the studio working on another Sly Cooper title. Now, this is a video that Matt Kramer, the senior creative director from Sanzaru Games, ended up doing with Greg Miller of Kinda Funny Games back on December 16th of 2019, to which he gave an update in regards to their involvement in Sly Cooper.
Nanobiologist had a PS on his question. Why have y'all forsaken Sly to ancient Egypt? When can he return home to Carmelita and finally be happy?
But we would love to come back to that world. I hate leaving them there. It's the question we get the most.
Sure.
So all I can say is, you know, if you guys want more Sly Cooper, let Sony know.
Herman Hulse, hit him up.
Yeah, but we're ready. We're always ready to dig into that.
Awesome.
And it was a great franchise to work on, and we really miss it.
I hope you get back to it one day. I liked what you guys did a lot with it.
Cool, thank you.
No
yeah,
problem.
It was a great project.
Hell, if you go onto Sanzaru Games' socials and you check their comments sections on some of the posts, there are definitely a few individuals who still ask them, can we get a Sly Cooper 5? Can y'all make Sly 5? Where's Sly 5? This individual commented, can we get a Sly Cooper 5? We also have another individual, still no Sly 5, to which Sanzaru responded to check out the Discord. We did answer this recently and Sanzaru is not working on Sly Cooper. And I'll show one more since y'all pretty much get the gist of it. When are we getting Sly Cooper 5? Feels like it's been forever. This is a blog post that Sucker Punch posted on their website back on July 1st in 2022, to which they've stated, as our games continue to grow in scale and complexity, they require the full attention of our studio. With our focus on our current project, we have no plans to revisit Infamous or Sly Cooper right now, and no other studio is currently working on projects related to those franchises either. These characters are very special and near and dear to our hearts, so while we'd never say never to reopening those doors down the road, for now, there are no Infamous or Sly Cooper games in development. I'm just gonna give my 2 cents on the whole situation. For me personally, it does break my heart to know that we're not going to get another Sly Cooper entry anytime soon. It really does disappoint me to know that the ending to Sly Cooper Thieves in Time ended like that, and that's why a part of me wanted to see the series continue so that way it could end on a proper note, but looking at how the franchise has been handled and how every single entry has somewhat had a cliffhanger ending, if we were to get another Sly Cooper entry, it would most likely end on another cliffhanger, which is something I would not look forward to at all. Believe me when I say, like, I definitely empathize with a lot of individuals in the gaming community. Hell, even in the Sly Cooper community specifically, I empathize with y'all when I say that I would love more than anything to be able to have another entry in the Sly Cooper franchise down the road, but unfortunately it's not going to happen because there's just not enough demand for another entry to happen. Matt Kramer has gone on record multiple times and has stated that if we the fans want another entry in the series, we have to let Sony know. Therefore, he insinuated that Sony has the rights to the franchise, not Sanzaru. And every single time people hear about these types of comments, there's very little traction that comes of it. Some people will use the hashtag Free Sly from Egypt on Twitter. Some people have even tried putting together petitions to see how many signatures it can get to try to show Sony that this is how many people want another entry, but the reality is it's only a minority. A lot of the people that are being vocal about this are coming from a minority of individuals in the gaming community, and Sony and PlayStation are not going to cater to those people since the majority don't want another Sly Cooper entry from the looks of it. Also, I just gotta be blunt with y'all and say that if you're one of the individuals that is still pestering Sanzaru Games to make another entry in a franchise that they absolutely have no control over of whatsoever, you need to cut it out, man. You need to stop. They have made it clear in the past that they are not working with PlayStation on any projects related to Sly Cooper, and the fact that they still get pestered over it in some way, shape, or form to this day has to be annoying for them to deal with. It really amazes me that there are people out there who are still unaware of this whole situation. Like, it's crazy to me. I'm not trying to be disrespectful with y'all by any means. I'm simply just keeping it real. I empathize with the majority of Sly Cooper fans when I say that I would love more than anything to get another entry in the Sly Cooper franchise. I would love to be able to experience a whole new Sly Cooper title on the PlayStation 5. Hell, PS4 if we have to. But the reality is the demand is just not there, and even if it is, it's just not enough for Sony to want to capitalize on to greenlight another entry to be developed. If you want more examples of just how little of a priority Sly Cooper has been to Sony and PlayStation, dude, we were supposed to get a movie for Sly Cooper like 6 to 7 years ago, and unfortunately that got canned. I also heard of news that we were supposed to get like a television series on Sly Cooper that was going to be presented on Netflix, but I doubt there's any validity to that news, and if so, I'll try to find a link so that way y'all can check it out for yourselves. I'll just say this to end it off. As much as I would love more than anything for there to be another entry in the Sly Cooper franchise, as much as I would love for there to be a newer entry that we can experience on the consoles that we have right now, unfortunately, Sony and PlayStation, they have made Sly Cooper such a low priority to them over the last decade plus that they pretty much have little to no reason to bring the character back from being dormant. And on top of that, the demand for another Sly Cooper game to be developed, it's just not there. And even if it is, it's only coming from a minority of people within the gaming community, especially those that are in the Sly Cooper community in particular. Because of the low demand that there is for another Sly Cooper game to be made, Sony and PlayStation are not going to capitalize on that and greenlight another entry to be developed. We just have to accept the fact that we're not going to get another Sly Cooper entry at any point in the near future, and even if we do, even if there is a slight possibility that we do end up getting another entry, it's most likely not going to happen anytime soon. I don't like it, y'all don't like it, but unfortunately it is what it is. But I want to know from you guys, are y'all a fan of Sly Cooper? And if so, which entries in particular did you enjoy playing the most when you were growing up in your childhood? Is a part of you still hopeful or still believes that we are going to get a new entry in the franchise at some point in the future? Hell, are you even familiar with Sly Cooper to begin with? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to know what you guys have to say. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, you're more than welcome to drop a like on it, and if you enjoy this type of content, you are more than welcome to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you can be notified of when my newest video has gone live. But until then, thank you all so much for watching. It's been your boy Discreet, and I'll catch you in the next video.